Hey YouTube, this is Jane Storm coming from Team Shadow Strike, and first off, guys, thank you for being patient with me. I was going to post videos before this past weekend, but I got caught up getting everything in order to where I could take off for the Vanguard World Qualifier held down in Fort Worth, Texas. Unfortunately, I did not top this time. I was out by round 5. I ended up uh, I even though I only stayed through 5 rounds, I had a blast, guys. You know, I enjoyed it. I have no problem with how my deck was built. For those of you, some of you have been asking for an update on my Kagero deck, which that I took to the qualifier. So I have that here for you. But I was out through round 5. I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people. I got to meet a couple of you guys. I got to meet David Hera. If I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your name correct. I also got to meet Frank. I'm trying to remember Frank's name here. His last name. Frank Vitello. From Team End Anger. Please go check him out. Awesome guy. Got the chance to do a match with him after the tournament. Had a lot of fun. Even played him in round 3 of the tournament. I had a great time. Just talking with so many of you, hanging out. I had a blast. Wouldn't trade it for the world. I hate how these weekends always seem to fly right by. But I got to meet a bunch of amazing people. I got to see some people that I also met in Houston for the Team League Invasion. Had a blast. I hope you guys eventually, for those of you who may not have been able to attend a major Bushiroad event, I hope you get to attend one soon. They are a lot of fun. You meet so many amazing people. Everyone is, for the most part, fun to be around, and I wouldn't trade any Bushiroad experience for any other card game tournament that there is. I would go to a Bushiroad event. If possible, if I could choose between a Bushiroad and a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, I would go to the Bushiroad Vanguard tournament, even if I had to travel farther to get there. I think Bushiroad, I gotta say for the staff real quick, at this tournament, they were awesome. They were more laid back while still being able to maintain, authority if they needed to, even though I never had a problem with the judges. Except in round 1, my opponent did do a couple of things that were not correct, but nothing major. All of my opponents, they were all kind and fun people to play. I enjoyed playing them. Like I said, wouldn't trade this experience for anything. But I got to the head judge there. His name was JD something. Awesome man. Very good, very funny actually. I enjoyed those judges. I hope I get to see them again someday. They were all amazing. The vendors were good. I did get a couple of things from the vendors. Obviously, this mat was given out to everyone who participated. It was the World Championship mat. I did use it in my rounds. And I got these for a future deck. Look at that. Blasta Joker! And then, that's pretty much it. I also bought myself a second of these Bushiroad tournament mats, and I've actually have already purchased. I'm going to be purchasing another one, but I just enjoyed my time there. Wouldn't have traded it for the world. I got to hang out with some of my best friends in the world. My friends Ryan, Sam, Christian, Zane, Glendon, Aaron, and Clint. That group of guys, I would do just about anything for. I loved going with them. talking, our downtime, the travel. I mean, it was just fun. That, you know, it was exhausting. I'm pretty sure none of us got more than about 5 hours of decent sleep. Um, but amazing. Loved it. Um, we left about 3 o'clock this afternoon. I got home about 8:30, I think it was, and then we met up at our locals because that's where some people park their cars. And then I had another hour to drive home, so I didn't get home technically until about 10 o'clock because we hadn't stopped to eat either. So I went and picked myself something up from for dinner. But so I'm going to show you my most up to date version of Rebirth. I never was grade stuck. I never had to ride Rebirth first. Some people were asking me if I was going to do an updated version of this. The reason I didn't is because I didn't want this deck profile out there before I went to the tournament, which I think is a good thing to practice. Guys, you can ask my teammates, and if Christian, Zane, Sam, Ryan, any of them happen to check this video out, please in the comment section below, guys, just give word to this. I play tested just about every Kagero card there was. You know, I tweaked so many things here and there. I tried 10k special intercepts. I tried cards from early as set 4. Heat Nail Salamander, Dragon Mage Kimnara. I tried just about every major Kagero card that is deemed powerful. Being the most powerful clan by far, I think, you know, just the amount of support. It's a little joke between me and my friend Ryan where I always say to him, you know, something to the effect of, you know what Kagero needs? And he'll say, oh, shut up, Jaden. Yeah, you know, guys, you know, I was going to make it my goal when I went down to, I was going to make it my goal when I went down to, Fort Worth to not, not spend too much money on cards, and especially not, Kagero cards. I picked up an extra Dragonic Overlord in a trade, and I may or may have bought 5 more Kagero Perfects. And then I was able to also pick up a playset of Setting Sun, Starvader, Darman Stanian. This is the new Link Joker Break Ride. They were giving them away in the free fights. I did not participate in the free fights. Well, I did. I just bought like two or three people, but never wrote anything down because I really didn't care. Not because I was, you know, I just didn't really have any use for the promos. I got more enjoyment out of sitting there and talking to them and having fun. You know, that was the highlight there. And then, whoops. And then also, I made a trade with my good friend Ryan. I got another Kagero deck, guys. I got 4 more ends, and I think this is now my 4th set of Bari. I mean, I can't stop. So, you know, more Kagero stuff. Fun. Alright, so I'm going to jump into this deck profile now. I think I've rambled on enough, but in the last thing about the tournament, guys, wouldn't trade the experience for anything. No complaints about this deck. I would play the deck the same way if I went back to the tournament and redid the whole thing. Nothing would change. The deck was consistent, never was grade stuck. You know, never was grade stuck, never had to ride Dragonic Overlord the Rebirth first. And, you know, everything was just perfect for the deck. You know, just Vanguard happened. You know, in the matches I lost, I just, you know, it just happens. You make all the right moves, and just sometimes it just doesn't pan out that way. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I'll do better next time. So anyway, let's get into this deck profile. So for the starter, we're playing Red Pulse Draco Kid. Now, I have seen people play Lizard Soldier Fargo, and I've said this once and I'll say it again. Lizard Soldier Fargo is an amazing card. However, whenever you're competing competitively, I believe it's safe to err on the side of, you know what, guys, let me turn off my TV here. I think it is better to err on the safe side and go for the consistency factor every single time. So I went with Red Pulse because it is the safer bet. Not because you may never use him. There was one game where I never did because I saw my grade 3s and I had no use to use him until I just felt that I wanted to reshuffle my deck. You know, I would go with Red Pulse, you know, for just about any major Kagro deck, unless I do have a couple more. I actually do have a pretty cool new Kagro deck I'm going to share with you guys. So anyway, continuing with the triggers, I went with 4 copies of Demonic Dragon Mage Apalala, just because this is my favorite Kagro trigger. I just like the artwork with the flames. And then I decided to go with 1 copy of Embodiment Spear of Tar, 1 copy of Blu-ray Draco Kid, 1 copy of Seal Dragon Biella, and 1 copy of Lizard Soldier Gora for 8 critical triggers. Then, for the draw triggers, I decided to play 4 copies of Seal Dragon Artepeak. Now, you might be asking yourself, why no Gatling Claw? Gatling Claw is an amazing card, guys, and I play-tested 2 Gatling, 2 Artepeak. I test-played 3 Gatling, 1 Artepeak, 3 Artepeak, 1 Gatling Claw, 3 of each, 5 draw triggers. I decided to go down to 4 draw triggers for the simple fact being, even if you play even that 5th draw trigger, if you hit all your triggers, all your draw triggers in early game, it thins your deck out very quickly. And when you use Rebirth Skill, you're going to be drawing at least 6 more cards out of the deck. If you add more draws in there, if you just hit 1 draw trigger during those 6, it adds another card that you're taking out of the deck. So I decided to go down to 4 draw triggers. Now, Gatling Claw is good because in certain matchups, it's good to have Gatling Claw. But I decided to go with Artepeak for 2 reasons. 1, you want to save all your counterblasts for Dragonic Overlord, minus the one that you might use for Red Pulse. Because if you do Break Ride Overlord on top of an Overlord, you're going to be spending 1 counterblast to stand back up. To use Rebirth's total 6 drive check combo, or the 3 attacks with the 3 twin drives, you're going to have to counterblast 2 total, along with dropping 3 cards from your hand, all complete altogether. Artepeak, it fuels another card in the deck that you play called Dragonic Burnout, and it also can, say you you use Overlord's ability the turn after, when you're not cross break riding, you're just going to use it to attack your opponent's Vanguard twice in 1 turn. You can call Artepeak, move him into the soul, and give 3,000 to your Vanguard, putting Rebirth at 16,000 total, and then when you counterblast 1 and lock your field, he's going to go to 26. This puts him, if you're facing an 11k Vanguard, it makes it to where they have to drop 20k to even 1-pass it, which applies a lot of pressure. So I decided to go with Artepeak just for the simple fact being that it fuels Burnout, it fuels... it can give you more soul to fuel for that burnout, or the one other grade 1 soul blasts, and it also can help you give plus 3k to somewhere to maybe fix a column, or give the power to Rebirth. So, and then for the heal triggers, 2 copies of Dragon Dancer Barbara, and 2 copies of Dragon Dancer Therese. So that's the triggers: 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal. For the grade 1s, I went with 4 copies of Eternal Bringer Griffin. This is another card that cycled during my test that went from 4 to 3 to 3 to 4 to 4 to 3 to 3 to 4 because I just didn't know how many I really wanted. But I decided to go with 4 for the simple fact being if you open up with a grade 1, if you open up with him and Rebirth, a grade 2 and a grade 1, you're pretty much off to a good start. And plus, you just want to have this card live because it helps you discard just a grade 3 from your hand, search out another grade 3, and help thin your deck a little. And it also sets up for Dragonic Burnout, which is one of your key cards. to the deck. So I decided to go with 4 Griffin for the simple fact being, even if you don't choose to use his ability, you know, even if it's just because you can't, he is still a solid 7k boost. So it's still going to turn your 12k attacking Burning Horn Dragon into a 19k column. Behind Burnout, it's going to create a 16 column. Or behind Nahalem, it's going to be a 17k column. So you're still going to be hitting good columns that are going to be hitting at least 16, which is really what you need. You know, I even test played Bar again in this deck. There's no really reason to play Bar, the 8k vanilla, in this deck anymore, because 10k Vanguards just aren't that present. Because if you even put it behind Burning Horn, 20 to an 11 can still be guarded with a 10k. Well, it's the same thing if I attack you with 19 to 11. Even if you've applied triggers to that, it stays the same. So there's really not much of a difference. So you can play Bar in the deck if you want. I'm not saying it's a bad option. I just went for consistency and for the effects. So. Oh my god. I've messed something up, guys. For my first grade one, obviously, where we played 4 copies of Wyvern Guard Bereave, perfect guards. That really doesn't take a whole lot of, you know, explanation. You need your perfects. People ask me if I test played the Quintet Wall. No. The Quintet Wall would not do well in this deck, in my opinion. You're going to be drawing cards quickly enough with Rebirth, thinning it out with cards like Eternal Bringer Griffin and Red Pulse. You don't really need another card that is going to be causing you to milk more out of the deck. So it's safer to just play 4 perfects. For the rest of the grade 1s, we play 3 copies of Dragon Monk Gojo. This is just a staple in Kagero. I originally was going to go 4 Griffin and 3 Gojo, but I decided to only go 3 Gojo because Gojo, he's a good, he's the unit I want to ride first every single time. But it's not essential. If you have to ride Griffin first, that's fine. But Gojo's just good because, say you cross Break Ride with Rebirth and you maybe have that extra grade 3 in your hand, you can rest it and drop that card, go ahead and draw something else, and maybe you'll get lucky and rip a Burnout to call Burnout in on final rearguard spot and blow up one of their front row rearguards and leave the other one alive for Rebirth to take out. You can just create so many columns, not columns, combos with Gojo or little setup plays, and I just for that simple fact, Gojo's still needed in this deck. Next, I played 2 copies of Violence Horn Dragon. This is the 10k vanilla for Dragonic Overlord. Now, I originally was not going to play this card, but I decided in the end I like sticking it behind Burning Horn Dragon or even Nahalem, or even Burnout. He's just a good booster to start out with, and then in late game you can move him up to the front and he can attack for 10. I originally was playing 2 Dragon Mage Kimnara, but those counter using him usually interfered with Overlord, and I just don't like that. So Violence Horn is the safer bet. It doesn't give you, it gives you another attacker in the late game, and it's still a solid 10k attacker, so, or 7k boost. And then for the last grade 1, I played 1 copy of Wyvern Calamity Tower Wyvern. Soul Blast 2-draw card. He's in there just for the floating extra draw. Because there really isn't another card I would rather play just one of. I mean, plus, if you put him behind Overlord or Rebirth, you're normally still going to hit 18, so that's what you want. Grade 2s. 4 copies of Burning Horn Dragon. So, pretty simple. 12k attacker, helps you get good rows and high attack columns, which is what we like. So. And then we play 4 copies of Dragonic Burnout. I originally went from my first deck profile. I played 4 Burnout, and then I actually went down to 3 Burnout for a while. And then I decided to go back to 4 when I put the Artipeaks in, and it was the right choice. I will say I was able to pick up 1 SP Burnout while I was there. That really made me happy. But Burnout is a key card of this deck. You need at least 3 in this deck. I personally, after playing the Artipeaks, I prefer 4 Burnout for the simple fact being he is good in any matchup. You can kill a 12k attacker, you can kill a key booster, you can kill their starter if it's a problem or it's on the board or just something. It just causes, it just gives you so many options. Maybe on the turn that you're going to use Rebirth to finish the game after you've crossed Broke Road and maybe your opponent was able to hold on, call one of these, Soul Blast 1, blow up one of their intercepts, so it's another less 5k that they have to guard with. So, but 4 Burnout is what I'd play. That's just me. And then for my last grade 2, I just went with 3 copies of Dragon Knight Nahalem. Classic 10k vanilla. You know, I test played 10k intercepts. I test played Dragon Dancer something. It was a card where when it's placed on the rear guard, counterblast 1 and your a flame dragon on your board can gain 5,000 attack power. And it was a good card. It just, again, it ate counterblasts for your overlords that can be used. And you might be saying to yourself, well, Jaden, why don't you just play Bellicosity Dragon? Well, I don't like having all 9k rear guards and all 9k grade 2s, and one of the reasons I like Nahalem is it's the grade 2 ride that I like, because general decks, most of their grade 2s are 9k. So if I have this, and most of the time on your opponent's grade 2 ride, they're going to be attacking your Vanguard for 14,000. I like putting a 10k guard in front of them and just shutting down that one attack, even if it is a critical trigger and I give it all to their rear guard and I let that one through, it's still a better option. I just like being able to have Nahalem as the Vanguard my turn grade 2, and you know, it's also beneficial in just some matches to be able to just shut down that attack. So having the 10k vanillas, you know, to me is a big help. Then for the grade 3s, pretty simple. 4 copies of my avatar, Dragonic Overlord. So one of the best Kagero cards, and also pretty much just the leader of the Kagero clan. I freaking love this card art. I just love it to pieces. I tried to pick up more SPs of this at the event, and the vendors didn't have any. If you do have SP Dragonic Overlords or Dragonic Overlords, the Overlord the Rebirth, this Dragonic Overlord and obviously, or Burnouts, please let me know. I do want them, and I will trade for them. So, because I'm going to SP this deck out if it's the last thing I do. So anyway, you want to max out on this. I also tampered with my grade 3 lineup a little bit. I even took out 1 Rebirth, 1 Overlord, and tried Vague. Now, Vague is, I'm not going to lie, he's a great card. But if you're not going to play Vague, I also wouldn't play this, Griffin. You know, my Vague Rebirth build is just, I just couldn't find a build of it that I liked. It's a good deck, and I saw some people running it in Fort Worth, Dallas, whatever the hell you want to call it, because I'm sorry, Fort Worth and Dallas is like Jinx and Tulsa here for me, or Owasso and Tulsa. You know, I just don't see the point of it. I really don't, because Rebirth is good enough on his own, and Vague is good enough on his own. I think they're both better as singular decks. They can be mixed. I'm not saying it's not possible, but you know, when I did do it, there were times where I just didn't get a grade 3, you know, and someone says, well, why don't you play Noble Romans in the deck? I don't like it. It's good, it's just not how I like to play the deck. I prefer playing Vague as its own deck. I think that is more consistent. I think it abuses Vague more, but that's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. It's just not what I would do. So I decided to just go straight cross ride because, in my opinion, that is the best build. But like I said, if I could go back and redo it all over, I wouldn't change anything about the deck at all. So 4 Dragonic Overlords. And then obviously for the last card, we play 4 copies of Dragonic Overlord, the Rebirth. And I'm pretty sure we all know what this card does by now. You know, Cross Break Ride, plus 10k, Counterblast 1, attack a rear guard, Counterblast 1, drop 1, stand back up, attack the Vanguard, drop 2 cards, stand back up, attack a 3rd time, and just continue to attack your opponent until you literally kill them. You know, I love this deck. You know, this is by far, you know, a tie with Chaos Breaker for my favorite deck that I have. I just love this deck a lot. So anyway, guys, this was the build that I played at Fort Worth. Like I said, wouldn't change anything about it. Wouldn't change anything about the deck at all. So I hope those of you that I met, or that I got to see again, or that I got to meet for the first time, or got to do, you know, just to share a minute with you guys, to just talk, say hi, whatever. I hope you guys had as good a time as I did. I hope I see you again. I hope you continue to go back to Bushiroad events. They really are awesome. 5 stars across the board. You know, no regrets about going. I wish I would have topped, but oh well. I will go to the next tournament. I will do my best to top then. So anyway, thank you very much, guys. If you have any questions about the event, feel free to put them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. So anyway, guys, I hope you all had a great weekend. Just so you know, me and my team, we did get to the event and back from the event as safe and sound. No one was hurt. We all had a blast. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Being patient with me on this deck. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any more questions about this deck, I will be more than happy to answer them as well. If you want any advice on how you could fix yours, or maybe suggestions or anything, please feel free to ask them. Leave them in the comment section below, or you can always email me at the team's email address, which is all over the page, all over our channel. So anyway, guys, make sure you thumb this video up for me. Make sure you leave me some feedback below. Make sure you subscribe if you already haven't, and I will see you guys next time.